Hello. As you've probably noticed, I've had a few 78s on my channel just recently. Now what I wanted to do here was show you how and why I actually cleaned those records to make them sound as good as they did. And you've got to admit, if you've heard some of them, they do sound very good. They sound almost as good as vinyl records. And that was a big surprise to me. Well, this is how I did it, and I'd like to show you exactly step by step, and at the end you can hear a sound test. So it's well worth sticking around. Let's get stuck into it. In order to bring you the beautiful sound of these 78s, I've had to do something to them, which is basically make them presentable. Now this is a 1929 British-made record. It's a 10-inch shellac, and you can see it's not had a particularly good... Well, it looks a bit mucky. Put it that way, very mucky. So that's what it looks like now. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to clean it, and this is the way I'm going to do it. This is a bath board. It happens to be over our bath, which is quite useful, but any firm surface will do. Now I've seen a few videos on this, and this is my version of what I've managed to work out from it. This is a microfiber cloth purely because I happen to have one, and I'm going to put that there. This is to make a supportive but not hard surface to lay the record on. Now we put some hand hot, not too hot, but hand hot water into the sink. You want it to be roughly 4 inches deep because you don't want it to be too deep, otherwise you'll just end up swamping yourself. Now we just simply get the record and we put it in there gently, bearing in mind it is delicate and you can bash it and break it. So as you can see, that's why they didn't want it to be too deep. But we do a bit of a spin clean on here, just giving it a rotation so that we can get all of the disc wet. That's all I'm trying to do, is just get it wet. Just want to get a bit of a head start. And this is obviously slightly warm water. Now we put it onto the microfiber cloth on the firm support, and then we get this, which is a brush and some. This is wash it up liquid. This is Fairy Liquid in the UK. It's one of the premium cleaners, and it's been diluted down, so you can see it's basically green. I'm giving it a good spray on there, and then I'm going to use this brush. Now you could use a nail brush or something similar to that. I'm happy to have this brush, so I'm going to use this. Used it before, it's worked well. Now rotate in the brushing. You must go round and round. You don't want to go side to side because you just damage things. Bear in mind that these are not delicate. They have what a great big lumps of metal dragged through them, so they're not as delicate as vinyl. But you've got to be a little bit careful with them. It's interesting how the pattern always comes out the same as that. No matter how often I've cleaned these, they come up with that pattern, which is strange. Interesting, but strange. Anyway, turn it over, do the same thing, a bit more spray with the washed up liquid dilute. I say dilute, it's still green, but it's not raw as it comes out the bottle. So again, giving it the brushing in the appropriate directions. I'm trying to not, obviously, you need to give it a go in both directions because you want to get the dirt out whichever direction it's laying in it. But yeah, it works quite well like that. So give it a couple more. See that pattern appearing again? It's not random. It's appeared on every one. You can see the actual foam is not white, so that means it's getting stuff out. Then take it over to the sink and give it a bit of an agitation in the water. As you can see, the foam is coming off quite nicely. It's well worth doing this way. You just have to be gentle with it. You want to get it to float out. You don't want to go rubbing it at this point because you want the dirt to float out, not get pressed in. So there's a bit you want to make sure you get this bit right. You don't want to rush this because if you get it to float out, you will actually have a much better result. Anyway, so that's that. Done that. So we've got that now looking like that. You can see it's looking reasonably good, So take it back over to there, and at this point, this was hard to film. So what I'm actually going to be doing is I'm using a terry towel because I found that works best because it actually absorbs the water. You can't use things like microfibers because they just spread it around and it never dries. So anyway, what I then did was I held it to my chest and dragged the terry towel round, and you can see here the grooves are not dirty anymore. Now I can't do anything about the scratches and bumps and things, but this is from 1929, this record. So it's nearly 100 years old. And I think you can agree that it does not look like you're going to be able to plant spuds in there anymore. So this is what I did to all the records that I've played on the channel since, well, the most recent ones. The original ones done on the Crosley, I just cleaned them in the way that people suggest, you know, with a proper cloth type jobby. But no, that didn't work. So these have been cleaned using the method I've just shown you, and all the 78s are currently doing are. This is another one I've done. What you mustn't do is use any spirit, because this is the effect just simple alcohol has. Imagine any other spirits, because remember, shellac is actually an extract from a beetle. It is not a plastic, it is actually an organic thing. And now for the listening test. Enjoy.
Dança mineiro com o vajão, eu fica louca com o vajão. Vem e requebra com o vajão, vem e me aperta com o vajão. O vajão, se dança o vajão. O vajão, como é gostoso o vajão. O vajão, que rico é o vajão. O vajão, se acaba o vajão. Dança mineiro com o vajão, eu fica louco com o vajão. Vem e requebra com o vajão, vem e me aperta com o vajão. Dança mineiro com o vajão, eu fica louco com o vajão. Vem e requebra com o vajão, vem e me aperta com o vajão. O vajão, se dança o vajão. O vajão, como é gostoso o vajão. O vajão, que rico é o vajão. O vajão, se acaba o vajão. Dance with me madly, the vajão. Hey, make me go crazy. Oh, I cannot resist you. Hey, dance with me, dance with me. Oh.